Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on something that guards pretty much everything you do online, network security. So let's just dive right in.
I want you to just stop and think for a second. Is your digital life really private? I mean, every single email, every website you browse, every time you buy something online. How safe is that information? The stakes here are, well, they're huge. And that's exactly why getting a handle on the basics is so important. Okay, so here's the game plan for today. We're going to start with the basics. What even is network security? Then we'll get to know the bad guys, the common threats you'll run into. After that, it's all about fighting back. We'll look at your security toolkit, go over some essential best practices, and then see how it all comes together in the real world.
All right, section 1. Let's start from the ground up. We've got to build that foundation and really understand what it is we're trying to protect in the first place.
So, what are we talking about here? At its heart, network security is basically a digital fortress. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. It's this mix of technology, rules, and just good habits, all designed to protect our computer networks and, the really important stuff, our data, from anyone who shouldn't be seeing it.
And to really get it, you have to understand these 3 core goals, what the pros call the pillars of security. First, you've got confidentiality. That's super simple. Only the right people get to see the data. It's a secret. Then there's integrity, which means making sure that data doesn't get messed with or changed. And finally, availability. This just means you can actually get to your network and your data when you need it. It's this constant balancing act, really, between keeping things secret, accurate, and accessible.
Okay, so if we have our fortress and our pillars of security, what are we actually defending against? Let's dive into section 2 and meet the enemy. It's time to talk about the most common digital threats out there.
And first up is a big one, phishing. Now this one is all about trickery. The key thing to remember about phishing is that it doesn't try to smash down your digital door. Now, it's way cleverer than that. It tries to trick you into just handing over the keys. It's a human hack, not a tech hack.
And here's the classic example, right? You get an email that looks exactly like it's from your bank and it's screaming urgent. Verify your account now. It's designed to make you panic, to make you click without thinking. And that's how they get you, by playing on your emotions. All right, next up is malware. That's just short for malicious software, and it's kind of a catch-all term for any nasty bit of code designed to cause trouble. You've got ransomware, which holds your files hostage, worms, which are experts at spreading from computer to computer, and Trojan horses, which sneak in disguised as something useful. It's a whole zoo of digital threats. Okay, this next one sounds like something straight out of a spy thriller. A man-in-the-middle attack. It's pretty much what it sounds like. A hacker secretly slips into the middle of a conversation between you and, say, a website. They can just listen in, or even worse, change the messages going back and forth, and you'd probably never even know.
And you know where this happens all the time? Public Wi-Fi. That free connection at the coffee shop or the airport, it can be a hacker's playground. On an unsecured network, it's so much easier for someone to pull off one of these attacks and intercept your data. This is where the digital threat gets very, very real.
Okay, enough of the scary stuff. Let's flip the script and talk about how we fight back. It's time for section 3, where we open up our security toolkit and look at the gear we can use to defend ourselves.
First up in our toolkit is the firewall, and the bouncer analogy is perfect. Seriously, think of it like a bouncer for your network. It stands at the door, checks the ID of all the data trying to come in or go out, and if something looks sketchy, it's not getting in. It is your absolute first line of defense.
Next, we've got the VPN, or Virtual Private Network. This thing is so cool. It basically creates a secret, encrypted tunnel for all your internet activity. So even if you're on that sketchy public Wi-Fi we talked about and someone is trying to snoop, all they'll see is a bunch of gibberish. It's literally like putting your data inside an armored truck.
Okay, this is a really important distinction. IDS versus IPS. An intrusion detection system, the IDS, is like a burglar alarm. It sees something bad happening and screams, "Hey, something's wrong!" An intrusion prevention system, the IPS, is more like a security guard. It doesn't just sound the alarm, it actively steps in and stops the threat. So one is a watchdog, the other is a guard dog.
And of course, the toolkit is way bigger than that. You've got your classic antivirus software, you've got something called network access control, which is like a gatekeeper for the network itself, data encryption to scramble your files, and one you've definitely heard of, multi-factor authentication, or MFA. That extra code you have to type in?
That's it. It's all about building layers, defense in depth.
So, having all these cool tools is great, but they're useless if you don't use them right. That brings us to Section 4. Let's talk about the essential best practices that actually make a difference.
Think of this as your personal security checklist. Seriously, use a firewall. Turn on MFA on everything you possibly can. Keep your software updated. Those updates often patch up security holes. And look, notice how half of this list isn't about tech? It's about you. Learning to spot phishing emails and using strong, unique passwords, that stuff is just as critical.
And this right here is the whole ball game. Most of these attacks, especially phishing, they don't succeed because of some brilliant technological hack. They succeed because of us, human error. You can build the most secure fortress in the world, but it doesn't matter if someone just opens the front gate because they were tricked. We're often the weakest link.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together. What does this actually look like day to day? For our last section, let's see some security in action.
This is a great breakdown because it shows there's no one-size-fits-all solution. When you're banking online, they're throwing the heavy stuff at it. Firewalls, heavy-duty encryption, and MFA, that one-time code they text you. But at the airport, the Wi-Fi is more focused on just keeping all the guests separate from each other. And in a big office, they'll use things like network access control to manage who can even get on the network in the first place. It's always about layering the right tools for the job.
So, if there's one single thing you take away from all this, please let it be this. Good security is not about finding one perfect tool. It doesn't exist. It's a layered defense. It's about combining powerful technology with smart, educated people who know what a scam looks like. The tech and the human have to work together.
And that really leads us to the final question, and it's one I want you to actually think about. If your personal security is a chain, made up of your tech, your passwords, and your own awareness, what's your weakest link? Because figuring that out is the absolute first step to making your digital world a whole lot safer. Thanks for joining me.